Laba diena, and welcome to another shop pack episode where I basically improve my workshop, do some machinery maintenance or around the shop repairs. And in this episode I want to do something about the sound quality. To be particular, I want to reduce the echo. So I'm renting this workshop. Actually, it's my workshop. I'm renting just the property. And it's in an industrial building and it has a lot of concrete surfaces. And the biggest open one is the ceilings. And like I said, I'm renting this property, so I don't want to invest thousands or 10,000s of euros I don't have in just the sound improvement. So I will go in a budget kind of manner. So let me explain my idea. I bought a whole roll of this agro-textile film, and this stuff is meant to be used in gardening to cover the areas where you want to prevent any weed growth. So my idea is to make this assembly process as simple as possible. So I'm thinking to make it in modules. So this one is basically one unit. And it consists of two main parts. It's this ceiling mount / rail, whatever you want to call it. And the second part is this mesh, which hopefully will dampen the sound. So the whole idea is to create as much surface for the sound to get trapped in as possible. So that's why I created these triangular sacks. And I'm thinking to cover these with the same material just to create even more surface. And this whole thing is loose. It's basically you can take apart the whole mesh and put it in one roll and carry it away. And if this contraption will not work as good as I expect it to work, so there's an easy fix. I can just throw a few sheets of insulation on top of this, and this should increase the dampening qualities. But like I said, I want to save as much money as possible, so first of all I will try this. So I will need at least 136 length meters of this mesh. And I think I won't explain these cross sections because this will come clear during the build. And this is the numbers I came up with. So that's quite some pieces. And also I wanted to calculate the difference between cutting with a bandsaw, where the blade thickness is only approximately a millimeter, and the panel saw, where the cut width is up to 4 millimeters. And when I have this much of pieces to cut, this ends up in 3 full sheets of plywood in just the difference of blade thickness. So basically each millimeter of blade thickness ends up in 1 full sheet of plywood. And this just can't fit into my head. Well, anyway, it was just for fun. I will cut on a panel saw anyways because it's just a time saver. I have a few thousand pieces to prepare, so no more further ado. Let's dive into cutting. Finally, I have all the material prepared, and this took me a whole weekend. But I'm glad I did it, because I could use up all the scraps laying around the workshop. And believe it or not, this is only 60% of my initial plan. And I decided that I don't need that much of a coverage, because there's heat detectors for fire alarm, and I cannot cover them. And also, I decided not to cover the ceilings in the first portion of the workshop, because I have a decking there, and there's a limited height, so I don't want any hanging parts from the ceiling in that area. And every time I have to do repetitive processes, I like to calculate the amount of time it takes to do a certain procedure. So I already made 5 of these ceiling mounts. So first piece took me like 12 minutes to make. But then I built this template, a jig, and worked out a pretty good rhythm. And now the last one took me 4.5 minutes. So it's easy enough to calculate how much time will it take to make all of these. And it's about 5 hours. And I always make an account that efficiency may drop during the longer periods of time because of loss of concentration, but I think I may improve a little bit because I made only 5 pieces, so I should fit into 5 hours. At least I hope so. So finally I'm done with these holders, and this pile consists of 1960 pieces. Luckily my efficiency increased at the end of the assembly. Well, anyhow, I also made 2 extra, but these are for the acoustic curtain assembly. So I'm done for today, and tomorrow I will start building this fabric curtains. So this was my original idea of the acoustic panel, but later on I realized that I already invested quite a great amount of time into this project, and it would be quite a shame if these panels wouldn't bring anything more than just a visual look. So I went and bought this. So this is how it comes, and this is how it looks unpacked. And this stuff is called Synthapon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, probably not. Anyhow, this stuff is used in furniture, It goes as a sublayer under the visible fabric. Also, it's very commonly used in clothing industry. It has a great heat insulation properties. Also, it's very light and fairly inexpensive. So my idea is to put a layer on top of this curtain I made over there. Only downside, it has no tube inside, so I cannot unroll it like the fabric before. So my idea is to lay it on the ground and cut it into sheets and apply it that way. Well, I definitely need to improve my installation technique. Oh, and I haven't shown you how I installed all the ceiling mounts. I did that while I was waiting for the Synthepon to arrive. So you can watch that, and I will go to assemble more curtains, because I can see that it will take a while. I'm exhausted, but happy. So this project was the most time-consuming shop improvement I've made so far. It took me from 100 to 120 hours to accomplish. But it was definitely cheap. I've calculated that 1 square meter of this acoustic insulation cost me a little bit more than 2 euros. So that definitely lands in a low budget range. So in the end, I'm left with quite a few Synthepon offcuts. And I'm thinking to make acoustic wall panels, because I have a lot of open wall surface. Yeah, that's about it from me. You may want to hear the difference before and after installation. So let's compare my greeting. Laba diena, laba diena, laba diena, laba diena, laba diena, laba diena. Okay, now I am totally done. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.